Have you heard your parent or a parent say, you better straighten up right now or I'm going to pull this car over? Well, I kind of feel like we as a nation need the car to pull over. We need to slow down and seriously look at our attitude. And I want to give you a couple suggestions for an attitude adjustment. The first one and the biggest one is humility. When we humble ourselves, we realize our nothingness in the grand scheme of things. We realize that we're just a very small person. You know, if you think about you in your city and you in relation to your state and you in relation to your nation and you in relation to the world and you in relation to the planets and all of the stars and all of the galaxies and the constellations, you're very small. But you have a great purpose. You have a divine purpose. And I speak from the perspective of being a child of God. And God created us, and we are to be creators. We are to be productive. We are to move and to have joy and peace and create. But what are we creating? What have our actions shown that we are creating? Are we creating peace? Are we creating peace in our home? Are we creating peace inside? Are we creating peace in our community? Are we creating peace in our sphere of influence? Meaning what you post on social media, does that create peace or does that stir up anger? And I know some of you are like, well, we've got to step on some toes to make some changes. And yes, you're right. We do have to make changes. And this is kind of my way of stepping on some toes. But I'm doing it in the sense of a call to action personally. I am not going to give explicit, awful stories of heartache and murder and pain and anguish. I am simply saying, get it right within you. Humble yourself first. If you want to. If you want to make change, I'm giving you some ways to make change. You can take it or leave it. I don't care. I do care. I want you to be happy. I want you to have peace. I want us to connect in a peaceful manner with a sense of purpose and a sense of kindness and compassion. But I'm not seeing that. And so that's why I'm posting this YouTube video. So humility, realizing that without our maker, without God, we are nothing. Nothing. But because of who we are, because of how we've been created, we are divine beings. We have spirits within us. We are spiritual beings in a worldly world. We are bigger than we realize spiritually. And it's time to tune in to yourself spiritually. Listen to your spirit. Your spirit is what's connected to your higher power. Your spirit is what is connected to God. And that is where you grow from. When you lose sight of that, you begin to feel alone. You begin to feel like you're all alone in this world, and everything that you do is based on your efforts, your time, your resources. It's all about you. But it's not really. You have been given gifts. You have been given talents from your maker, from your creator. Are you using those gifts, those talents, and those resources to make this place better, to strengthen one another? That's humility. That's humility, knowing that you're not better than anyone else. You're not better than any one other person. You are an individual, a divine being who has been given specific gifts and talents to use here in this world to help others along the way. That is you. And it doesn't mean that you're better than somebody else. It means you've been given a purpose and you need to live your purpose and help others along the way. So humility. When we put others first, we're humble enough to say what I think right now is not going to matter when I'm talking to the person in front of me who I care about. If they don't feel heard, If they don't feel loved, if they don't feel cared for, it doesn't matter what I think, because I'm putting them down. They're feeling awful. I need to connect to them. I need to listen to who I'm talking to. I need to show kindness and compassion to them. And when you do that, the joy, the gift is that it reciprocates back to you. Then they feel safe. They feel safe in that little space that you've created with them. And now they want to reciprocate back to you. That's the goal. That's the hope. I know it's not always going to be that way, because we're human and we're flawed and we have hurt and we guard our hearts and we feel like we can't let people in and we feel like we know better than somebody else and we have to enforce our belief system on somebody else. And maybe you think, well, Jure, you're forcing your belief system on me. I'm giving you my perspective. I am, because I have been humbled. I walk through trials and have asked for humility in my life, and I've been humbled in horrible, awful ways that I would not wish on anyone. But I need to be humble. I know I need to be humble so that I can be kind, so that I can be compassionate, so that I don't think that I'm better than somebody else and put them down. Because I used to do that. I honestly did. And it wasn't right. And it didn't feel good. And being humbled doesn't feel good either. But you know that you're going in the right direction, because you know that you're becoming a selfless person and you're focusing on others. That is how we help one another grow. So I hope that doesn't sound too big. It's doable. Humility starts with asking yourself, what do I need to work on? What do I need to work on? You all know something that you've got to work on, a way of thinking. Are you quick to anger? Are you slow to learn? Is it hard for other people to teach you? A humble person is teachable. They are willing, even though they may know a lot, they're still willing to learn. And they're willing to learn from anyone. I learn so much from my kids. They teach me, and I let them. That's humble. That's humility. I could think, well, I'm their parent and I know better. And in a lot of cases, I do. But I can see where there are times that they are teaching me. And I think that that's what Heavenly Father wants. When we're humble, we are open to those opportunities for learning, no matter where it comes from. Even if it comes from somebody of a different faith or a different background completely, we can always learn from others, from one another. So the humility is softening your heart. It's being teachable. It's allowing your heart to open to others so that you can care for them, so that they can care for you. Stop guarding that heart of yours. It's going to be okay. And really, that's all I want to talk to you about today. Kindness begins with me. If I don't like the way the world looks right now, if I don't like what I'm seeing on Facebook, I'm not gonna bitch and moan about it. I'm not. I am just going to start putting stuff out about peace and about happiness and about connecting with one another. I'm going to put things out about repenting. Repenting is a gift. I'll talk about that later. But I'm not going to put up stories anymore that stir up people and make them angry and hurt and bring them to a remembrance of pain. We know what pain feels like. We're good with that. What we need to be reminded of is what kindness and compassion and caring feels like amidst the pain. Let's do more of that. So that's my first segment on kindness begins with me. And I hope that this touched you. And if you have questions or comments, please comment below. I want a dialogue. I do. So like and subscribe, add your comments. Let's get a positive story going. Let's figure out ways to be light in the darkness. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.